This is the You Ask, the Pros Answer podcast. Do you have questions about an upcoming exterior contracting project? We've got answers. Welcome to the You Ask, the Pros Answer podcast. Hey, welcome to the You Ask, the Pros Answer podcast presented by Pro Exteriors. My name is Cole. I'm one of the hosts on the show, and today we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary. We wanted to use this opportunity as a way to say thank you and to celebrate all the great conversations we've had together over the last year. So, for today's episode, I am counting down our top 10 most popular episodes. You can think of this as the definitive best of list. It's a great way for any of the new listeners out there to get started, or for our longtime fans to revisit some of our most impactful conversations. Let's get right to it, starting with
number 10.
All right, coming in at number 10 is Where the HE Double Hockey Sticks is My Roofer. You might recall in this episode, Aaron and I had a pretty candid conversation about what it takes to run a successful contracting business. We talked about why you want a contractor who's going to be around for the long haul, why it's important to have a solid warranty in writing, and how to spot red flags when searching for a contractor. I think this one resonated with our audience because so many of us as homeowners have asked this question, like, where is this contractor that I hired? Why have they not started? Why is it taking so long? Why didn't they show up in the first place? Why is it that so many businesses, specifically construction businesses, that start out with the best of intentions, why is it that so many of them aren't around just a couple years after they've opened their doors?
So I would say the number one reason is going to be that a lot of people start their own companies in the construction industry simply because they're really, really good at the actual work. And I think that a lot of people see their bosses or their companies making, a good living, or we'll say a better living than they are. And they go, oh, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing. The nitty gritty of why companies fail is more kind of based around the business part of construction. And most people that will say carpenters, so people that actually are good with their hands, are able to physically do the work, aren't good at the other side of the business. So I think that a lot of those guys go into business because, the economy's good. There's so much work out there. We saw this during COVID in 2020-21. So many people that were previously employees, went out and started their own companies because there was just literally just so much work. And, we've seen a lot of those come back to the labor pool over the last year. I think it comes down to is the guys or girls, persons are simply good at the work, and they want to branch out and be able to kind of have a little bit more control and potentially make a little bit more money. It's not quite as easy. The business side of construction can ruin you. I believe, and again, we could probably find that statistic. The number one reason I think that contractors technically go out of business is because of cash flow. We take deposits from people most of the time. We end up funding a lot of projects with our own money, and eventually it gets to the point where, as your company grows, you get to the point where you're owed so much money that the cash flow may run out, or you may get a 2008, 2009 mortgage crisis. The economy tanks. There's quite a few factors. I think everybody over the last few years, with COVID starting in the home improvement industry, the space went crazy.
Number 9.
At number 9, we have What Are Builder Grade Windows? While the title is very specific, we actually ended up diving into just about everything you need to know about windows. It was a comprehensive discussion about materials, quality, what to look for when you're considering a replacement. It's clearly a topic on a lot of your minds.
The one thing that I see happening more and more is there's a couple of larger companies that you probably get mailers for them 2 or 3 times a week at a minimum, but they come in and they do what we call like a down and dirty install. Their windows are going to be replacement windows. Their doors are going to be replacement doors. They don't take the exterior siding off. They're typically going to kind of try to do everything they can not to touch any of the siding or interior trim. And they leave things in a way that oftentimes can be problematic. So we've had 2 or 3 instances in just the last 6 months where we've been called out to patio doors that have been installed, and they put like metal capping around the door when they were done, but they literally just caulked it to the siding. And then vinyl siding, again, we always talk about it's not waterproof, it's water resistant. Water gets behind the vinyl siding and then gets behind their new metal capping and comes out the inside of the door. That's why we personally always install new construction windows, because when we're all said and done, we know that it's flashed with the house wrap and the flashing tape the way it's supposed to be.
The next one proves that our local listeners are on the hunt for good pros. Our
Number 8.
most popular episode was titled Finding Trustworthy Contractors in Delaware and Maryland, Part 1. This episode, you might remember, was all about practical steps for finding a contractor you can trust within our specific service area. We covered everything from using online resources to tapping into your personal network to help you avoid a lot of headaches down the road.
Other things I like to look at is like how many years in business. I also really enjoy people that have an actual address listed. There'll be times where, in the service industry specifically, you'll have people that kind of service an area, but that's not really their main area. So, if, for instance, you look for, auto mechanics in Milton, Delaware, you're probably going to come up with a handful of local shops. If you look for plumbers in Milton, Delaware, you're probably going to come up with 20 or 30 shops. And some of those people are, they could be based out of Salisbury, they could be based out of Dover, they could be based out of Wilmington, but since they service this area, technically they're still going to come up. Now, not to say that they're not great quality companies, but I always choose to do business with a place that I can physically drive to, show up, pay them in person if come down to it. I like to do business face to face. I like to work with businesses that actually have a place that I can visit.
This one is a personal favorite of mine, and it came in at
Number 7.
What is Relief Cut, and how can you get involved? For this episode, I had a special guest, Jesse Bolton. He is the co-founder, along with his wife, Melissa, of Relief Cut. Jesse and I have been friends for a long time, and it was really good to catch up with him in this way. We talked about how this brand new nonprofit provides compassionate outdoor property restoration services to people in need. The fact that so many of you listen to this episode shows how much our community cares about giving back. And just a quick update on Relief Cut. When Jesse and I spoke, they were still finalizing a lot of their paperwork, making sure that the nonprofit was set up to succeed. They were still looking for equipment needed. Well, just about a few days ago, they completed their first job for a veteran who is disabled. If you're not following Relief Cut on social media, I encourage you to go do so.
Our target audience, is single moms, disabled vets. We have a large veteran community down here, so there's endless amounts of that. Those people down here that need that help, elderly people that they lived on some acreage, they raised their family there. They dread the idea of having to downsize because they can't maintain it anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe their health that doesn't allow them to go out and do the maintenance the property requires. So we'd be able to swing by and take care of that for them.
Landing at
Number 6
is what is Company Cam? In this episode, I brought on Brad Wozlovec. He's one of the exterior specialists at Pro Exteriors. But I brought him on to talk about the technology that we use every day at Pro Exteriors. This really pulled back the curtain and showed what a modern contracting business relies on. And the fact that we're using just more than hammers and ladders. It was really good to get a peek behind the scenes. And hopefully you guys all felt that way too.
Even if I just take a lunch break and my mind's off of it, I can take a couple phone calls. It's going to get...
Happy birthday, Brad!
it's my birthday, so I'm getting a cupcake now.
Listeners, viewers, today is Brad Wozlovec's birthday. Today is October 2nd. I knew this was going to happen. Yep. There it is. Happy birthday, Brad.
I'm 1 year old today. All right, I'm going to blow this out before I get wax everywhere. Oh, it's sparking now.
Good luck getting that out.
I blew right out. I think it was getting ready to start one of those.
Oh, I thought
it is. It is.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
See, you don't know that I'm fearless, so.
Audience, this episode is coming out October 11th, so we're like a week after Brad's birthday. I don't care. In the comments,
good.
would you tag Brad and wish him happy birthday? If you're watching this in 2045, wish him happy birthday. All right. We're just about at the halfway point. I want to share some exciting news with you guys. So while we're celebrating the 1 year mark for this show, many of you know that Pro Exteriors is celebrating 20 years of business in 2025. As part of that celebration, we want to give back to you, our loyal customers, by offering you a very special gift. Check this out.
You heard it here, folks. Local Milton contractor Aaron from Pro Exteriors, seen all over town. Nobody knows what he's doing. Has he lost his mind?
Okay. When you're offering something this good, you've got to be ready. Pro Exteriors rarely offers a deal this good.
All right, so between today, August 1st, 2025, and December 31st, 2025, we are offering our customers free gutter guards installed to anyone who purchases a full roof or siding replacement within the promotional period. You can find out more of the details in the show notes, but wanted to throw that out there. We would not have made it this far without you guys, our customers. All right, back to our list. Hitting the halfway point at
Number 5
is our very first episode, How Much is a Roof Replacement? I remember recording this like it was yesterday, right here at this very desk. We had a candid conversation about the factors that go into a roofing system, what you can expect to pay. It's no surprise this was a hit. It's a huge question for us as homeowners, and it's where we decided we wanted to first start just having really honest conversations. If you listen to that whole episode, which many of you did, I actually pinned Aaron down for a number range of how much a new roof costs. If you didn't stick around, you can go back, watch that entire episode, and find out how much you can expect to pay for a roof replacement.
There are people out there that are going to price themselves out, either being too high or too low. Is there such thing as being too low? Absolutely. So if you get 3 contractors come in your door and you have a guy that's $10,000, a guy that's $14,000, and a guy that's $15,000, the guy that's $10,000, the first thing that's going to come into my mind is, why is he so cheap? And, you can justify being a little less expensive, but when you've priced yourself so far out of the market, you might get some people that will bite at that. But ultimately, getting 3 prices kind of aligns you with what the market is. We do this every day, so we know what the market dictates price-wise. We can adjust as the pricing of roofing materials goes up. So, we know the market rates, but you as the consumer, you may not. If you Google, what does an average roof cost, you're going to get some crazy pricing back. You're going to get prices that say your roof only costs $6,000, and you're going to go to another website that says your roof costs $38,000. It's not realistic sometimes. 90% of the time, those numbers aren't anywhere close to what the real deal is. And again, we touched earlier a little bit about geographically where we're located. It does come with a little bit different of an installation. So, all of those factors kind of go in to build ultimately what that price is going to be.
This is an interesting one. Our
Number 4
most popular episode is titled, Why Do Contractors Go Out of Business? If this sounds familiar to number 10 in this list, that's for good reason. This was actually a re-release of that episode 13. We re-released it because we felt like it was worth going back to. This one really dug into the reality of managing a contracting business. We talked about the importance of hiring a contractor who'll be around to stand behind his or her work. We all know it's a critical topic because it gets to the heart of what you're looking for in a long-time partner for your home.
So when you meet with a contractor and they give you your price, one of the first things and easiest things you can ask for is like, look, can I see your license and can I see your insurance? If they have any employees whatsoever and they can't provide a copy of their workman's comp insurance, that's a huge red flag, because if they don't have it, then you are now liable for anybody he has working on that job site.
Number 3
The bronze medal for our top episodes goes to When Is It Time to Replace My Siding? Aaron and I drove into the telltale warning signs that your siding is on its last legs. We also addressed the life expectancy of different materials And of course, what can you expect to pay for your next siding project?
If you're having a name brand product installed, again, from a previous episode, it should be 100% spelled out in the contract what house wrap they're using, what products they're using, how they're fastening it, what type of fasteners. All that stuff should be laid out. So the burden ultimately is going to fall on the consumer to do their homework. If we're installing a James Hardie lap, if you go into Google and you type in James Hardie siding installation instructions, you're going to come up with a PDF manual. You're going to come up with 2 versions. You're going to come up with like the super in-depth, like 40-page version, which is going to give you every possible detail, every spec that you'll never need to know. And it might come up in like 3 different languages. Or the other one is the James Hardie Best Practices Installation Manual, which is only 3 pages. That one's going to give you the easiest way to use the consumer to kind of look at it and go, is that detailed right? Yep, looks good. That detailed right? Look, looks good. Unfortunately, we can't really count on the local code enforcement for some of this stuff because we routinely see jobs that, have stuff installed wrong and code enforcement comes around and it still gets passed. It still passes inspection. Some stuff they just can't see once the siding's up. It is what it is. And then other stuff is like super, super obscure codes that just don't get enforced. So yeah. So you can always find a guy that can do it super cheap and super quick. You can always find a guy that can charge you a whole bunch and he may still do it super quick and just use super cheap labor. But ultimately, the best thing I can tell any homeowner is do your homework, research the products and their installation, and be there when the siding is actually being installed.
Number 2.
And our runner-up is Would You Rather. This was a fun, quick-fire episode where I put Aaron in the hot seat with a bunch of silly and then some serious would you rather questions. It was a break from our normal content, but it clearly resonated and gave all of you a chance to see a more lighthearted side of our show. Gutter Guard's kind of the unsung hero of the roofing system and your home's exterior popped up on the wheel. Would you rather install seamless aluminum gutters on a straightforward home or copper gutters with decorative hangers on a custom build?
That's tricky.
Really?
I'd say copper gutters.
Yeah.
Because I would feel, yeah, but see, but it's one of those things where, like, at the end of the day, it'd be more fun to install the copper gutters, but it's not fun installing copper gutters. Like, at the end of the day, you'll be, more satisfied knowing that that's what you did versus like just plain Jane seamless gutters. But it's not like a fun installation. So,
are you welding or soldering or brazing? How do you put copper how do you combine 2 pieces of copper with gutters?
I mean, there's a couple of different ways, but yeah, normally we'd be kind of like soldering the joints together.
And the
Number 1
episode of our first year with the most downloads and engagement is Aren't All Roofers Drunks? And Other Common Misconceptions. This was a big one for the show. In this episode, Aaron got to address a lot of the stereotypes and misconceptions about the contracting industry and the people who work in it. This episode was a powerful moment for us where we really stood behind our mission of providing straightforward and honest answers. The fact that it's our number 1 and most popular episode tells me that you all value the honesty that this show provides as much as we do.
When I was in school, it was right around the time where the big push was you've got to go to college. You want to get a good career, you want to make, decent money, you got to go to college. People would say things along the lines of like, do you want to lay brick in the hot summer and the cold? That was like it was like looking down upon people who worked with their hands for a living. But in reality, man, I always loved working with my hands. I think people are starting to realize that blue-collar businesses are actual careers. Any sort of trade businesses is an actual career.
So there you have it, our top 10 from our first year. On behalf of everyone who makes this show happen, I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for listening and for being on this journey with us. It's been a really good year, and I can't wait to see what this next one brings. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to all of these episodes if you want to revisit any of them. All right, that is all we have for you today on the You Ask the Pros Answer podcast. Thank you so much to everybody who's been getting the word out about the show. Please continue to do so. The best way to do that is to leave reviews on Apple Podcasts, follow us on social media, or simply tell a friend. If you are watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to our channel. Also, before we go, we want to hear from you. We say this every week. This show does not exist without your questions. Please send them to info@askproexteriors.com and simply put "You Ask" in the subject. If you are facing an upcoming home project, we hope this episode has empowered you to tackle it with confidence. Remember, knowledge is power, and a little research can go a long way. Until next time, happy homeowning. The You Ask the Pros Answer podcast is produced in-house by the Pro Exteriors team. Pro Exteriors is the exterior contracting division of Empire Construction Group, LLC. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. For more answers to your questions, please subscribe to this channel and podcast so you'll never miss an episode. Do you have an upcoming home remodeling project? Find more answers to your questions at askproexteriors.com. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Would you please help us out by hitting that subscribe button? That would be awesome. Also, if you never want to miss another one of our uploads, please be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, thanks. See ya.